Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sanjeev Anand, and I am the Dean of the College of Law at the University of Saskatchewan. I am also your Master of Ceremonies for today's important event. We are gathered to celebrate the college's second annual first-year welcoming ceremony, which will begin immediately with the procession of first-year law students. Thank you, everyone, and thank you to the Amati Quartet for that wonderful musical procession. It is my pleasure to bring greetings to students, staff, faculty, cloakers, honored guests, family, and friends. We are excited to have you with us today to help formally welcome our first-year students to the College of Law. To our knowledge, our college is the first law school in Canada and only the second in North America to hold a ceremony of this kind for its entering students. This ceremony is intended to mark the beginning of a new intellectual journey, one that will be transformative and enriching for students embarking upon their legal studies. Part of the ceremony includes having our first-year students recite a student commitment. This commitment has been derived from the university's Learning Charter, which was established in 2010 to define aspirations about the learning experiences that the University of Saskatchewan aims to provide. You will find the student commitment in your program, along with commitments from both the institution and our faculty. Together, these commitments define the roles each party plays in ensuring every student at the University of Saskatchewan is given an optimal learning experience. At this point, I'd like to say a few words about the impetus for this ceremony. A few years ago, I was in Montreal for a meeting of the Canadian Council of Law Deans. Our special guest at this meeting was Governor General David Johnston, himself a former Dean of Law and a former president of 2 Canadian universities. The Governor General spoke with considerable pride of attending his daughter's white coat ceremony while she was enrolled in medical school. He observed that the ritual of the ceremony created a connection, a sense of community between the alumni and students who participated in it. It served to introduce the students to a community of scholars and to the idea that the knowledge that they will gain in their years of medical school has the potential to significantly impact people's lives. With the power entailed by that knowledge comes great responsibility, to quote Spider-Man. A responsibility to give back to their communities and to treat others with respect, dignity, tolerance, and civility. Finally, the ceremony served to reinforce the importance of upholding the highest standards of academic honesty and of always conducting oneself in an ethically sound manner. When I heard the Governor General's words, my immediate thought was that the white coat concept and principles were just as germane and worthy of recognition in law schools as in medical schools. As a result, I decided to attend the white coat ceremony of the College of Dentistry, and I was so impressed that I began a dialogue within the college concerning putting on a similar type of event. As with most things, the collegial processes we have at the university resulted in a much improved concept for the event, and I extend my sincere thanks to the many faculty members and students who have worked on this initiative. Although the gowns used in today's ceremony are black, the intention behind the ceremony is not to prepare our students for or suggest that they should necessarily embark upon a career in the legal profession. Some of our students may choose not to practice law, and it is certainly true that the perspectives and insights gained by pursuing a liberal legal education serve our students well, no matter what career path they end up pursuing. Indeed, there is great intrinsic value in a quality legal education. The gowns are black for a couple of simple reasons. First, the black gowns serve to distinguish the ceremony from the white coat ceremonies. Second, and most importantly, the black gown symbolizes the tunic worn by individuals as a sign of learning until the middle of the 14th century. It was this tunic, the academic gown we are all now familiar with, that was adopted and subsequently modified by Oxbridge and then the legal profession in England. It symbolizes to students and their families that they are progressing into a field of higher learning, that this field is both a privilege and an opportunity, and it marks the beginning of an important new chapter in their lives. Thirdly, and perhaps most mundanely, the gowns are black because that is the color of academic gowns at this university, and we needed a ready supply of some type of ceremonial garb. This ceremony would not be possible without the support of the Calgary law firm of Burnet, Duckworth, and Palmer. BDP has committed $200,000 over 10 years to sponsor this event. $5,000 a year is slated to offset the costs of the actual ceremony, while the other $15,000 a year will go toward funding an experiential learning opportunity for our law students. Today we have with us Gary Bugeaud, managing partner of BDP, as well as representatives from his firm. Gary has been the managing partner of BDP since 2008. He received both his Bachelor of Commerce in 1990 and his Bachelor of Laws in 1991 from the University of Saskatchewan. Along with his role as managing partner, Gary serves as a corporate secretary to a number of oil and gas production and service companies. He is also a newly appointed member of the Board of Trustees of the Alberta Cancer Foundation. Please join me in welcoming Gary Bugeaud to the podium.
Thank you, Dean and Ann. Welcome, everybody. Congratulations on starting this law school here. Hello, I'm Gary Bugeaud. I'm the managing partner of BDP. In the early 1980s, I was a high school dropout with a grade 10 education. I worked in the oil field for a number of years and had achieved success in that I had a steady job, a new truck, and a wife. I started in the U of S Business School at age 25, and a couple of years later, 25 years ago, I started my studies at this law school. My father-in-law was a grain farmer from the Estevan area. When he mentioned lawyers, it was always with some level of disdain. Yet when I started school, he would mention it proudly in a different way than when he spoke my prior job in the oil field. It was one of the first indications to me that my law degree would have significance beyond helping me to just get a good job. When you enter the professions such as medicine, dentistry, or law, society affords you opportunities or advantages you probably didn't have before. I noticed it in that people I met treated me differently after entering law school than they had when I was a dropout working on oil rigs. In a commencement speech at Syracuse University this past spring, George Saunders, a New York Times bestselling writer, talked about looking back, what do you regret? Mr. Saunders said it wasn't his successes or failures that he most regretted. What did he regret? He regretted failures of kindness. He gave an example of a shy kid in the 7th grade who was often ignored and occasionally teased. He remembered seeing the pain in her eyes. And one day she moved away. One day she was there and one day she wasn't. 42 years later, although he hadn't been mean to the girl, he regretted not having been kinder. Saunders put it another way and asked, who in your life do you remember most fondly, with the most undeniable feelings of warmth? He bet that it would be those who were kindest to you. Saunders said that as a goal in life, you could do worse than try to be kinder. He noted that being kinder was not inconsistent with pursuing success in a career. Saunders thinks that as we get older, we see how illogical it is to be selfish. As people age, many become less selfish and more loving. I am about the same age as Saunders, and I'd agree with him. One of the greatest men that I've ever met was Jim Palmer, a founder of our law firm. Jim passed away a few weeks ago, just shy of his 85th birthday. Jim was a driven, focused lawyer who more than anything was a kind and considerate gentleman. Every time I heard Jim publicly speak to members of our firm, he told our lawyers and students about the position in the community that being a lawyer afforded them. He said they should use their position to help their community, be involved in politics for the good of the community, and treat others with respect. Jim was granted a list of awards that fills many pages. The one that I most admire is the one awarded by his alma mater, Dalhousie University. It was called the Weldon Award for Unselfish Public Service. A title like that is very telling about the mark the recipient has made in his community. At our firm, we think that kindness is an important character trait. In fact, the majority of the students, summer students and articling students that we hire have a meaningful history of volunteerism, or what you might call kindness in our community. The path you're starting by entering law school provides you with increased opportunity to be good. If Saunders is right that as you get older, we get kinder, entering law school allows you, if you seize the opportunity, to be kinder quicker. Congratulations at the beginning of your law career.
Thank you, Gary. I would now like to welcome Dion Tatusis. Dion Tatusis is the cultural liaison for the University of Saskatchewan. He hails from the Poundmaker Cree Nation, but he grew up right here in Saskatoon. He's also an alumnus of the Indian Teacher Education Program of the College of Education. Dion has been a professional educator since 2004 and is a recognized cultural enthusiast and performer. He will be working as a resource for First Nations, Métis, and Inuit initiatives on campus through the Aboriginal Student Center while providing cultural and educational support to students. Please join me in welcoming Dion. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Dean. I'd like to send greetings out to each and every one of you on behalf of the Aboriginal Student Center. What I'm here to do today is a simple recognition, an act of recognition on behalf of all of our first years. You are the Oskayak. In my language, what that means, you're the new ones. But more along the lines of when I say recognition, I recognize you as a fellow warrior. For the wars that we fight today is not on the field necessarily. It's also in the courtrooms. And you stand for us, you do things, you go above and beyond for us. And as Oskayak, as the new ones, you're going to be embarking upon a journey. And to all the family members and all the supports that are here, the mentors and the facilitators, the instructors, what we're going to be doing here today is I'm going to be performing a song. This is a warrior song for each and every one of you. And for all of us up here, what we're going to do is we're going to use our voices after I perform this song. We're going to put our hands together. We're going to really support, because these people are going to be going to a place deep within themselves, and they're going to be changing. They're going to be changing significantly. And when they come back to your homes, you'll notice a change. And by the time you reach your degree and you get that piece of paper in your hand, you will feel like a warrior. So with that, I'd like everybody to rise at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dion. I would now like to welcome the Honorable Chief Justice Richards, Chief Justice of Saskatchewan, to bring greetings from the Court of Appeal. Chief Justice Richards received his BCom and LLB degrees from the University of Saskatchewan. He went on to complete his Master of Laws degree at Harvard Law School in 1982. The Chief Justice is currently a director of the Canadian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies. He was appointed to the Court of Appeal for Saskatchewan in 2004 and was appointed Chief Justice of Saskatchewan in 2013. Prior to being appointed to the bench, Chief Justice Richards served as a clerk to the Supreme Court of Canada, a parliamentary intern in the House of Commons, Chief of Staff to the Right Honorable Raymond Nittichen, Director of Constitutional Law with the Saskatchewan Department of Justice, and a partner with McPherson, Leslie, and Tyerman. Please join me in welcoming Chief Justice Richards.
Dean Anand, judicial colleagues, faculty members, members of the profession, family and friends of the first-year students, and of course, first-year students. I'm very pleased to be here this afternoon on behalf of the Court of Appeal, and I'm very pleased to be part of this very special ceremony marking the beginning of the class of 2016's voyage into the law. Let me begin, again, on behalf of my colleagues at the Court of Appeal by congratulating each of this year's students on the simple fact of having been accepted into the College of Law. The law school entrance hurdle, I know, is a high one, and it takes both talent and hard work to get over it. And my hat is off to each of you for having been chosen to be part of the select group that will now have the privilege of studying at the college. I think that on an occasion like this, it's important to remember what law and lawyering is all about. My point here is highlighted, perhaps in a backhanded way, by the famous line from Henry VI, where Jack the Butcher says, "The first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers." This is a disconcerting idea for people just beginning on their careers. But we've all heard this famous line, "First thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers." People often figure that Jack the Butcher was motivated by a sense that lawyers were somehow unworthy or corrupt. But in fact, his idea was that if there were no lawyers, anarchy would soon follow, and his group would be able to overthrow the government. Shakespeare was really saying that lawyers are critical to the functioning and operation of society. And so it is. Every day and in every corner of the world, lawyers are doing important work. They defend the innocent and safeguard their rights. They build and maintain the institutions and the relationships which allow the economy to function. They help people to arrange their family and personal affairs. They write constitutions. They put dangerous people in jail to protect the community. And lawyers make these kinds of contributions in all sorts of different contexts: private practice, government, companies, NGOs, academia. In big ways and in small, it is lawyers who are on the front lines of the ongoing struggle to protect liberty, to ensure justice, and to promote order and social harmony. And this grand sense of the law and of what lawyers do is what's going to underpin and should underpin all of what you study over the next 3 years. It used to be said that in first year law, you got scared to death. In second year, you got worked to death. And in third year, you got bored to death. I don't think that was ever strictly true, and I don't think it's true today. But you will be challenged by law school. You will work hard and you will learn new ways of looking at the world and new ways of analyzing problems. As Professor Kingsfield said in The Paper Chase, you come into law school with skulls full of mush, but you will leave thinking like lawyers. Over the next 3 years, your professors will give you an intellectual toolkit that will serve you for the rest of your professional lives, no matter what direction those lives take. And I can assure you that whether you sense it today or not, your careers will indeed take some very interesting and unexpected turns. In fact, I guarantee it. And if you don't believe me, come back in 20 years and call me wrong. And this is largely because of the basic reality that a law degree will offer you a great deal of professional and career flexibility. To give you a concrete sense of all of that, let me refer to just a few of my first-year classmates from 37 years ago and tell you where they've ended up. Shirley Novak does immigration law with the federal government. Doug Moen is the deputy minister to Premier Brad Wall. Doug Curlis is a prosecutor handling drug cases. Kent McNeil is a law professor. Don McIver has won respect and awards for his pro bono legal work. Dale Beck is the director of the Office of Residential Tenancies. Al Gaucher is a tax lawyer. Bill Tour is a senior player in an international law firm. Steve Carter is a provincial court judge. Eric Klein was Minister of Finance and now works for a potash company. Casey Davis is a businessman. Pauline Duncan practices family law in a small firm. Graham Dove is a legal aid lawyer. I could go on all afternoon, but I won't. My point is that none of these folks back in our first year of law school could or would have predicted any of this. But as I say, your law degree will give you a great deal of maneuverability, and the tides and currents and opportunities of life will end up taking you in rewarding directions that, sitting there today, you can't even imagine. And finally, I should say that during your tour of duty here at the law school, you will encounter good people who will become lifelong friends. That too is a guarantee, and you're welcome to come back in 20 years to talk with me about that one too. There's something about the shared experience of intense study and the crucible of law school that forms strong personal bonds. You likely haven't met them yet, but maybe they're sitting beside you, maybe they're 3 rows in front, maybe they're 6 rows behind. But in this group of colleagues, you will find 3 or 6 or 8 of the best friends that you will ever make, and they too will be part of your law school experience and part of your law school legacy. So, on my behalf and on behalf of the Court of Appeal, please accept our very best wishes for success and satisfaction in your studies. You'll be tested in the days ahead, but I know that, just like all of those who have gone before, you'll be up to the challenge. These next 3 years of school, of study at the College of Law will be memorable, and they will mark you for life. Enjoy them and get all out of them that you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Justice. I would now like to welcome the Honorable Chief Justice Popescu to the stage to bring greetings from the Court of Queen's Bench. Chief Justice Popescu received his Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of Saskatchewan in 1979. He was appointed Queen's Counsel by the federal government in 1992 and Queen's Counsel by the province of Saskatchewan in 2000. In 2001, Chief Justice Popescu served as president of the Law Society of Saskatchewan. He was appointed a Justice of the Court of Queen's Bench in 2006 and Chief Justice of that court on January 1st, 2012. Chief Justice Popescu.
Good afternoon, everyone. Chief Justice Richards, President Bush-Fishniak, members of the judiciary, distinguished guests, and first-year law students. Firstly, I would like to thank Dean Anand for inviting me to address you on this very special and momentous day. I sat more or less where you're sitting 37 Septembers ago. And as you may have guessed, I was only 8 years old at the time. Many things have changed. Time goes by very quickly. Now, everyone has a cell phone and a laptop computer, and most legal research is done online. However, some things never change. I saw Professor Ron Cumming just a short while ago, and the guy looks exactly the same as he did in 1976. It leads me to conclude that there's no stress at all in being a top-notch professor and a world-renowned expert in secure transactions. Another thing that hasn't changed is that this College of Law remains one of the best law schools in the country. You should be proud to be a part of that. Now, when thinking about what I was going to talk to you about today, I reflected upon my years of law school and the legal career that followed. And I decided that I would speak to you about two things: reputation and what Chief Justice Richards already touched on a little bit, and that is law school bonding. First, I'll talk about reputation. All of you have been accepted into the College of Law, and as Chief Justice Richards said, that's no small feat in and of itself. And you arrive here with diverse pasts and personalities. And I will submit to you that you are now experiencing somewhat of a renaissance or rebirth. Whatever you were and whoever you were is now changed. You are no longer the goofy kid in high school. You're no longer the Kool-Aid guzzling championship of your block. You are now law students. And in 3 short years, you'll be graduating and you'll begin your preparations to enter the profession. Law school is not merely an extension of your undergraduate studies. It is the first major step in your professional career. You have the opportunity right now to start to create the reputation that you will carry with you the rest of your life. It all starts now. If you are fortunate enough to develop a good reputation, you will gain the respect of judges, colleagues, and your clients. A good reputation is a very, very valuable asset, and it will make the practice of law much easier and will trigger immeasurable rewards. Develop and protect your reputation. The second thing that I will leave you with today, and Chief Justice Richards touched on it, relates to the common bonding experience that you will share with your classmates, those very people in this room today with you as you journey through law school. Over the next 3 years, you will work hard and play hard. You will be stressed, embarrassed, elated, fatigued, overworked, filled with self-doubt, and question what is right and what is wrong. However, you will not be alone. You will be concurrently experiencing this same constellation of emotions with your fellow students, the approximately 127 of you that are here today. The psychological bond that will develop over the next 3 years while you share this mutual experience during challenging times will result, and I don't think you need to come back in 20 years because I can guarantee it, that many of your classmates will become your lifelong friends and your colleagues. There's nothing quite like it. My class, for example, the class of 1979, has produced 2 other justices of the Court of Queen's Bench, a number of Provincial Court justices, the Chief Justice of the Province of Saskatchewan, and my wife. Enjoy, cherish, and respect these people. In my day, failure rates after first year were quite high. First year students were told, look to your left, look to your right. At the end of first year, one of those people won't be here. Fortunately, as I said earlier, those times have changed. If you work hard and if you work smart, there's no reason to fail. Now, a more appropriate epitaph may be, look to your left, look to your right. Both of these people are your classmates and are likely to become lifelong friends and colleagues. The law school years were some of the best years of my life, and I hope the same remains true for you. I can't tell you that the next 3 years will be easy. I can tell you that they will be worthwhile. You are entering a profession at a time of unprecedented opportunity, especially in this province. Welcome to the College of Law. Good luck. Be safe. Have fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Justice. I would now like to call upon the Honorable Judge Albert Lavoie to bring greetings from the Saskatchewan Provincial Court. Judge Lavoie is originally from St. Bruce, Saskatchewan, and received both his Bachelor of Arts and his Bachelor of Laws from the University of Saskatchewan. He has served on the Board of Governors for the National Judicial Institute and is a past president of the Canadian Association of Provincial Court Judges. He was also a founding member of the Board of Directors for the Canadian Centre for Court Technology. Judge Lavoie.
Chief Justices Richards and Popescu, President Bush-Vishniak, Dean Anand, distinguished guests, and last but not least, first-year law students. Firstly, let me thank the college and the university for the kind invitation to be part of this ceremony today. It is a pleasure for me to bring greetings on behalf of the Chief Judge Snell and all the members of the Provincial Court of Saskatchewan. De la part des juges de la Cour provinciale, c'est un plaisir de vous adresser à cette cérémonie qui vous accueille en première année au Collège de droit. Let me express to each of you how significant this symbolic ceremony is, not only for each of you, but for the entire college and the legal community of the province. We are here today to recognize your success in commencing another important stage in your professional aspirations. The author, Walter Emerson, wrote, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." At the end of the next 3 years, you may want to reflect on this question: what have I learned about what lies within me? We are often reminded that what success ultimately means. This short description that I came across the other day may be relevant. Success means to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of those around us, to earn the appreciation of honest critics, and to endure the betrayal of false acquaintances, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by helping someone or advocating a redeeming social condition. To know even that one life has breathed easier because of your assistance. That is to have succeeded. You are embarking on an exciting profession that deals with the essence of putting order in the unpredictable world of human relationships and behavior. You will meet challenges. However, might I suggest that you pursue your goals with energy and confidence. May I express best wishes to each of you. The judges of the Provincial Court look forward to some of you appearing before them. May I simply ask that you be prompt, be concise, and be an advocate. As you progress through your career, just remember, just when you think you've graduated from the school of experience, someone will surely think of a new course for you to take. This reminds me of the following. It was a young applicant at a job interview. He was taught by his mother to always be forthright in answering all questions. He was filling out the application form when he came across the question, "Have you ever been arrested?" Of course, he answered no. The next question, intended only for those who had answered yes to having been arrested, but he thought he should answer it as well, as his mother always taught him to. And the answer was, "Why were you arrested?" And he didn't deter. He dutifully answered it and said, "Because I never got caught." I'll remind you, you will often be reminded in criminal law class. You have the right to remain silent, and you have the right to retain and instruct counsel without delay. Once again, best wishes to each of you as you navigate the 3 years of law school. Au plaisir de vous recevoir en cours. Merci. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Lavoie. I am pleased to introduce Dr. Eileen Bush-Vishniak, President of the University of Saskatchewan. President Bush-Vishniak received her undergraduate degrees in physics and mathematics from the University of Rochester, and her master's and PhD degrees in mechanical engineering from MIT. In 1982, she joined the faculty of the University of Texas at Austin as an assistant professor in the mechanical engineering department and was in the department until 1998. She then joined Johns Hopkins University as the dean of its School of Engineering. And she remained there until joining McMaster University as provost in 2007. President Bush-Vishniak became the president of the University of Saskatchewan on July 1st, 2012. Please join me in greeting the president.
Thank you, Dean and Ann, and good afternoon, everybody. I have the dubious distinction of being the only person you will hear from today, aside from the Amati Quartet, who does not have a degree in law. So I approach this from a slightly different point of view. I nonetheless wish to pay my respects to the students and their families and friends, and to our distinguished guests and faculty from the perspective of a consumer of legal goods, rather than one who is practicing law. I'm very pleased to be with you here today, to be with your families, and to welcome you to the College of Law at the University of Saskatchewan. You are joining a university that, as a member of the U15, is recognized among the elite universities of Canada and North America. As you can tell by the distinguished guests that are with us today, it takes a strong community of individuals, faculty, staff, alumni, and your student peers to make the college and university among the best in Canada. From our successes, our reputation grows, and so too do the number of opportunities for our students. Those opportunities naturally come in the classroom with our faculty and professors. The College of Law has a proud history, however, of providing students with relevant learning opportunities outside the classroom as well. From Classic, the inner-city legal clinic that gives students the opportunity to provide legal services to those who otherwise couldn't afford them, to our highly regarded mooting programs, you will find many chances to grow and excel in the profession you have chosen. What we offer you as students is support to pursue education and push the boundaries of knowledge. We offer you the connections you need in order to reach across disciplines and into communities around the world. And when you have those things, you're in a position to make a difference in those communities. All that I have mentioned today is a part of our commitment to you once you have become, as you have now become, students at the University of Saskatchewan. Our learning charter is a reflection of our ultimate hope, which is that we help you discover what you are passionate about and that we prepare you for a world in which the only thing you can count on is change. Learning is a lifelong endeavor, and it is our job to prepare you for that. With that in mind, I encourage you to experience as much as possible in the college and to take advantage of all that our university has to offer. You may be surprised at what you discover by following the opportunities available to you here. Enjoy what is sure to be a very memorable time of your life. I wish all of you success this year and in the years ahead during your time at the University of Saskatchewan. Thank you.
Thank you, President Bush-Vishniak. Our keynote speaker this afternoon is no stranger to the college, having served most recently on the college's Centennial Committee. Michelle Hollins, QC, grew up in Saskatchewan, and then attended Texas Christian University in Fort Worth, Texas, where she graduated with a BSc in 1987. She returned to Saskatchewan and obtained her LLB from the University of Saskatchewan's College of Law in 1992. After clerking with the Saskatchewan Court of Queen's Bench, she began her articles and then worked as an associate at McCarthy Tétrault in Calgary. In 2001, Michelle joined the firm of Dunphy, Best, Bloxham LLP, where she became a partner in 2004. Michelle received her Queen's Counsel designation in 2008, and deservedly so. She has a sterling reputation as a civil and commercial litigator. In 2012, she was appointed lead counsel to the Alberta Commission of Inquiry regarding preferential access to health care, and I know from chatting to her she's very glad that that work is done. Michelle is an active volunteer, particularly within the legal community. She has been involved in the Canadian Bar Association for many years, including serving as the CBA Alberta branch president in 2007. Having served on many committees within the Canadian Bar Association, she received the Louis St. Laurent Award for Service in 2010. She is currently the first vice president of the Canadian Bar Association and will serve as its national president in 2014-15. As the father of 3 children myself, I can tell you that the most difficult and rewarding job in the world is that of parent. Michelle was a single mom bringing up twin girls during her years at law school. Having met Michelle's daughters, I can tell you that she did a superlative job raising them. They are both cultured, diligent, highly accomplished individuals in their own right, and they are understandably extremely proud of their mother. Before I met Michelle, I was already aware of her glowing reputation within the legal community. But after I met her, I realized what an inspiration she is to all those who are fortunate enough to know her, and that will soon include all of you. Please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Michelle Hollins, QC.
Thank you very much, Dean Anand. I could use all my allotted time, I'm sure, describing how honored I am to have been asked to deliver only the second ever keynote address at this gowning ceremony for the first-year class at the University of Saskatchewan College of Law. I went from flattered to terrified when I heard that the inaugural speaker last year was Peter McKinnon, the former Dean of Law, my dean, and the former president of the university. And in fact, we are sitting here during this ceremony in the Peter McKinnon building, which this time next year will be the Michelle Hollins building, which will be cool. I'm here today because this experience, this place, changed my life, profoundly changed my life, and I believe that it will change yours. When I say that going to law school changed my life, it's not hyperbole. My dad used to go on and on and on about how, as the second youngest of 10 children, he was the only sibling to leave the family farm and go to university. And here at the University of Saskatchewan, he received not just his Bachelor of Science, but his master's degree in agrology. I got pretty tired of that story as a kid. But now I appreciate what it took for him to do that and how that changed not just the course of his life, but that of mine and my children. And similarly, I believe that this experience will change not just your life, but your history. I had never planned to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a doctor. And I had a very romantic vision of myself as a world-famous and astoundingly brilliant medical researcher. I finished my biochem degree in Texas, and I worked for a time at a hospital in Dallas where my husband and I lived. I will fast forward through all of the decapitated rats and the incredible isolation of that work, as I was the only female anywhere near that lab, and my disappointing MCAT scores, to the point in time where we moved back to Saskatchewan. That was in 1987, and I was then pregnant with twins. I managed to get a night job packaging prescription narcotics in a warehouse. Again, the only woman anywhere near that workplace. I now think that perhaps the preponderance of all those male co-workers, their narcotics, the rats, and that never-ending AC/DC soundtrack that played all night, every night, which should be part of the Geneva Convention on Torture, all prepared me very well for the world of civil litigation. Anyway, after the girls were born, I went right back to work at that warehouse, working during the night and taking care of the girls during the day. As I inevitably wore myself down, I decided I needed to go to school and get a real job. So I thought again about medical school, but I didn't think that would be possible with the girls. So the next best thing in my mind was law school. LA Law was a popular show at that time, which I used to watch. None of you will know that. I'm over it, it's fine. The dean probably doesn't even know that show. Anyway, the lawyers on LA Law had one meeting every Monday morning, and the rest of the time they slept with each other. I thought, that doesn't look that hard. So I wrote the LSAT, and on a beautiful day in 1989, with my 14-month-old twins in tow, I began law school. The first few days were overwhelming for me. I felt so out of place. I had no friends nearby. I had no social connections at all, much less any connection to the legal community or the academic community. I remember my husband taking me shopping for an outfit to wear for the first day. He had an extremely particular vision of what that should look like and a very controlling way of expressing that, and that shopping trip ended in many tears. Some of you are probably already guessing how that part of my story ends up. I also remember a girl in the first day in one of the lineups, and this was shocking to me, who had a nose ring. She looked so badass and so mean. I was completely intimidated. The whole thing was very angst-ridden. It was complicated and it was nerve-wracking, at least at first. But it didn't take long for me to find a first-year study group, one that was content to meet at my place when the girls were in bed. I studied hard and I did well, and my confidence grew. This was something that was really challenging, but something that I enjoyed, and I could do it. More importantly, I began to make new friends and established a network of people with whom I could share all the ups and downs that define any academic program. Perhaps not surprisingly, that new independence did not accord well with the dynamics of my marriage, and we split up in second year. I became the single mother of 2-year-old twins. Law school, again, became overwhelming, albeit in a different way. Many days I just thought, what are you doing? You can't do this. Just quit and get a regular job or go part-time. This is too hard. I had other personal challenges at that time too, all of which I was trying to deal with while reeling from my separation, my exhaustion, and a significant second-year workload. I've often thought how fortuitous it was that there were 3 long flights of stairs to the admin offices at the law school, because I can tell you several times I began the journey up there to withdraw. But because it took so long, I'd inevitably change my mind before I could negotiate all those stairs and walk back down and get to work. Of course, I had the support of my family and my classmates, and very importantly, of the law faculty. They were instrumental in encouraging me at just the right moments. When I graduated in 1992, I managed to get a clerkship position at the Court of Queen's Bench in Regina, after which I articled at McCarthy-Tatro. The girls were 5 when I articled. Still a single parent with no family in Calgary. Those years are the subject of a different presentation I have titled, "No Kid Ever Died from Eating Kraft Dinner." That was tough too, but it's all been an incredible journey. So how did law school change my life? Well, it allowed me to see the possibility of a future with enough financial security to raise those kids alone. It allowed me to understand that I was not crazy or stupid or any of the things that I was beginning to believe might be true. And it allowed me to meet new people, many of whom are very important and beloved people in my life today. So what import is that to you? Well, only this. You can do it too. You can do this. Some of you are already thinking, as I did, that you don't belong here, that you'll not be able to keep up. You're full of self-doubt and apprehension. Others of you, of course, have never had a moment's doubt in your life, which is great. You're probably working away right now on your campaign materials for LSA president, which is great. But I do believe that law school and articling and practice is going to throw all of you some curves at some point. You may get a bad grade on something that you felt really good about. You may have a difficult professor. They're not really difficult, but you might feel that they're difficult. You will feel stressed and overtaxed at times. Relationships will begin and some will end. You may suffer heartbreak or other personal loss. But law school is not all heartbreak and drudgery, far from it. It is intellectually awakening. It is the doorway to new relationships and friendships, a new way of thinking about the world and about the role and the purpose of law. It is learning the best coffee places, sharpening your air hockey skills, and accumulating all that clothing with the paw prints on the butt that you'll wear for years and years and years until it has holes and your spouse finally throws it out. Law has been the most rewarding career that I could ever imagine. For 20 years, I have genuinely loved it. I strongly believe that this is always because I have thought of myself as part of a community, whether that was my law school classmates, my fellow articling students, my associates, my partners, and now the bar. You do not want to do this alone. My advice to you is build your networks, create them, nurture them. Open yourself up to all of your classmates, even the weird ones. If you don't think that anyone else is weird, it might be you. Just kidding. Just kidding. You will hear some of the most amazing life stories ever over the next few years if you will listen. You will have heard this saying, it's one of my favorites, although it's not Spider-Man. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. Nowhere is that more true than here. This is your community. They will be there for you, and you will be there for them. Celebrate yourself, hang tight to your family, and exalt your colleagues. No matter what happens, you can do it, and I promise you it will change your life. Thank you and good luck.
I told you she was great. Thank you so much, Michelle. That was an incredible speech. Very much appreciated. I'm sure it resonates with everyone in this room, whether they've gone to law school or not. The Amati Quartet will now entertain us with some wonderful music before we begin the second half of our ceremony. Thank you so much for that. The instruments are amazing, but what you do with them is even more amazing. Thank you. I'd like to welcome our cloakers to the stage. If they could make their way, that would be greatly appreciated. We are lucky to have with us a distinguished group of U of S alumni, as well as 2 current students, to present our first-year students with their gowns. I would ask that as I introduce each cloaker, they step forward. Chancellor Blaine Fable. Blaine Fable is the 14th Chancellor of the University of Saskatchewan, having taken up his duties on July 1st of this year. Chancellor Fable, currently the CEO of One Earth Oil and Gas, is an influential Plains Cree leader who has made significant contributions to scholarship, education, public service, and the Canadian public good. He is an alumnus of the Indian Teacher Education Program at the University of Saskatchewan, where he received his Bachelor of Education degree, and a successful graduate of the Native Law Center's Program of Legal Studies for Native People. Chancellor Fable received his law degree at Queen's University and a Master of Business Administration degree from Harvard University's Graduate School of Business. Chancellor Blaine Fable. Catherine Ford, QC. Kathy Ford received her Bachelor of Arts from the University of Saskatchewan and her Bachelor of Laws degree from Queen's University. She was admitted to the Ontario Bar in 1976 and the Saskatchewan Bar in 1977, and has practiced in Saskatoon continuously since February 1977. Initially, Kathy practiced family law with Robertson Stromberg, where she became a partner, and for the past 19 years, she has been in solo practice as a mediator and conflict resolution specialist. Kathy has been involved in many community volunteer endeavors, including at the present time as chair of Prairie Hospice Society Incorporated and as a member of the Board of Governors of the University of Saskatchewan. The law school is very fortunate to count her as one of our long-serving sessional lecturers. She currently coaches the college's upper year competitive mediation moot. Kathy Ford, QC. Danica Lightning. Danica is Cree and from the Erminskin First Nation in Hobbema, Alberta. She received her Bachelor of Science degree from Concordia University College of Alberta and is a graduate of the Program of Legal Studies for Native People. She's entering her second year of law at the University of Saskatchewan and is president of the Aboriginal Law Students Association. Danica. Kylie Head. Kylie Head is president of the Canadian Bar Association Saskatchewan branch for the 2013-14 year. She graduated with distinction from the University of Saskatchewan's College of Law in 1998 and is currently employed as a senior Crown Counsel at Saskatchewan Justice, advising the Ministry of the Economy. Kylie has been a member of the CBA Provincial Council since 2007 and the CBA National Council since 2011. She also serves as a member of the National CBA Equality Committee and the National CBA Public Sector Lawyers Forum Executive Committee. Kylie Head, everyone. Heather Haven. Heather is a law professor at the College of Law. She graduated from the U of S with a Bachelor of Science in 1992 and a Bachelor of Laws in 1996. After clerking to then Chief Justice Beta of the Saskatchewan Court of Appeal, she practiced with the firm of McPherson, Leslie & Tyerman in their Regina office. She completed her Master of Laws degree at Harvard University in 2003, and we have been fortunate to have her on faculty at the University of Saskatchewan since that time. She's an award-winning teacher and is engaged in teaching and research in the areas of international trade law, business law, dispute resolution, contract law, and oil and gas law. Professor Haven. Laurie Johnston Clark. Laurie is a solo practitioner at the Johnston Clark Law Office in Saskatoon. She completed both her arts and law degrees at the U of S and is a member of the Mistawasis Cree First Nation. Laurie is also legal advisor to the First Nations Treaty Rights Protection Fund Tribunal that was established under the authority of the Federation of Saskatchewan Indian Nations Convention for the Protection, Promotion, and Enhancement of Treaty and Inherent Rights. Laurie Johnston Clark. Heather Lang, QC. Heather is a partner with the law firm McDougall Gawley in its Saskatoon office. She graduated from the University of Saskatchewan with a Bachelor of Arts in 1990 and a Bachelor of Laws in 1993. She practices exclusively in the areas of insurance law and civil litigation. She was elected a bencher of the Law Society of Saskatchewan in 2010 and is currently the president of the Law Society of Saskatchewan. Heather Lang, QC. Galen Richardson. Galen was born and raised in Saskatoon. He completed an undergraduate degree in international studies with an emphasis on Slavic and Eastern European studies at the U of S. During his time at the College of Law, he's been part of the Law Students Association, Legal Follies, and Law Games. Next year, he will be articling at McKercher LLP in Saskatoon. Galen Richardson. Donald Worm, QC. First of all, please note your program inadvertently omitted Mr. Worm's QC designation. My apologies for that omission. We didn't take it away or anything like that. Don Worm, QC, is a member of the Kawakatus First Nation Treaty No. 4 and credits his grandfather with teaching him Cree philosophies, traditions, and spirituality as he was growing up. He received his Bachelor of Laws degree at the University of Saskatchewan in 1985. Since then, his legal practice has focused on how Canadian laws and legal institutions impact Aboriginal people. Mr. Worm is a founding member of the Indigenous Bar Association in Canada, and it is not an exaggeration in the very least to call him one of Canada's leading, if not the leading, Indigenous lawyer. Among his many achievements, Don was commission counsel to the Ipperwash Inquiry. Donald Worm, QC. I would now like to welcome the 2013-14 first-year class. Students, please say your name and hometown before crossing the stage to receive your gown. After you are done, please exit on the opposite side of the stage and return to your seats. I would ask that the audience refrain from engaging in applause until after each group of students receives their gowns. I did this last year too, and everyone just ignored me, but all right. We will now proceed with the presentation of the gowns.
Jonathan Adams, North Battleford, Saskatchewan.
Jordan Allen, Medicine Hat, Alberta.
Timothy Armstrong, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Isaac Atnikov, Regina, Saskatchewan.
Emily Barlow, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Keith Barron, Vancouver, BC.
Kristen Bates, Regina, Saskatchewan.
Lindsay Beaudry, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Jessica Belisle, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario.
Andrew Campbell, Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan.
Allison Bruce, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Jared Brown, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Cameron Brightman, Calgary, Alberta.
Riley Braun, Herbert, Saskatchewan.
Deep Brar, Calgary, Alberta.
Jordan Bolt, Lloydminster, Saskatchewan.
Embry Blashill, Regina, Saskatchewan.
Larissa Berg, Cochrane, Alberta.
Alana Carlson, Outlook, Saskatchewan.
Michelle Caron, Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Andrea Chung, Victoria, British Columbia.
Eva Como, Edmonton, Alberta.
Matthew DeClute, Saskatoon.
Danielle Demenchuk, Calgary, Alberta.
Kyla Duchin, Regina, Saskatchewan.
Stephen Dewick, Delisle, Saskatchewan.
Nordica Dushin, Nipawin, Saskatchewan.
Dusty Irwine, Lloydminster, Alberta.
Lauren Fagnan, Mafking, Manitoba.
John Fast, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Paul Federoff, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Matthew Fian, St. Albert, Alberta.
Shane Garter, the Queen City, SK.
Aaron Ferguson, Yellowknife, NT.
Laura Forcey, Vancouver, BC. Ashlyn Friesen, Regina, Saskatchewan.
Bruce Gordon, Saskatoon.
Morgan Grant, Calgary, Alberta.
Colin Gray, Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Sarah Greiba, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Cole Ginter, Hague, Saskatchewan.
Kara Hill, Flin Flon, Manitoba.
Scott Hitchings, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Ryan Holfeld, Leroy, Saskatchewan.
Kelsey Horning, Edmonton, Alberta.
Herman Jangri, Edmonton, Alberta.
Brooke Johnson, Onger, Saskatchewan.
Caitlin Jones, Brights Grove, Ontario.
James Judish, Calgary, Alberta.
Matthew Kerr, Lloydminster, Alberta.
Omar Khayyam, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Cameron Klein, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Nicholas Colton, Whitehorse, Yukon.
David Conkin, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Dane Kostanek, Red Deer, Alberta.
Karen Kowalski, Inglefeld, Saskatchewan.
Amanda Christian, Prince Albert, Saskatchewan.
Amber Kruger, Edmonton, Alberta.
Leanne Laprise, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Justin Lafferty, Calgary, Alberta.
Susan Lee, Trail, BC.
Chris Liu, Vancouver, BC.
Madeleine Lusick, Regina, Saskatchewan.
Brian Lundy, Weyburn, Saskatchewan.
Curtis McDonald, Red Deer, Alberta.
Michael McDonald, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Kaylee McPherson, Sherwood Park, Alberta.
Kate Marsheldon, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Edward Mattei, Toronto, Ontario.
Matt McMahon, Oakville, Ontario.
Francine Marasti, Pelican Arrow, Saskatchewan.
Katina Mikos, Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Mandeep Minhas, Vancouver, British Columbia.
Shayla Mooney, Warman, Saskatchewan.
Craig Marak, Vancouver, BC.
Amjad Marabbit, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Hillary Nelson, Calgary, Alberta.
Katie Orem, Coquitlam, BC.
Monique Paquin, Regina, Saskatchewan.
Ben Parsonson, Burnaby, BC.
Adam Polovich, Vancouver, British Columbia.
Robert Peters, Kensington, Prince Edward Island.
Jenna Plain, London, Ontario.
John Poneth, Nacum, Saskatchewan.
Vojna Prekic, Niš, Serbia.
Turner Ralston, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Brandy Rental, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Tyson Reve, Olds, Alberta.
Kristen Ross, Edmonton, Alberta.
Jeremy Roussel, North Battleford, Saskatchewan.
Nahid Saleh, Edmonton, Alberta.
Mitchell Sanders, Fort McMurray, Alberta.
Richna Soroya, Edmonton, Alberta.
Danielle Shandelka, Raymore, Saskatchewan.
Sam Schonhofer, Regina, Saskatchewan.
Narinder Sidhu, Brampton, Ontario.
Dominic Sikora, Gananoque, Ontario.
Lisa Smart, Regina, Saskatchewan.
Matthew Smith, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Samantha Smith, Richmond, BC.
Janelle Suter, Pleasantdale, Saskatchewan.
Jarrett Strebe, Watson, Saskatchewan.
Vamsi Suresh, Calgary, Alberta.
Kara Takagi, Thornhill, Ontario.
Chinping Tan, Calgary, Alberta.
Jordan Thompson, Vancouver, British Columbia.
Leon Thompson, Saskatoon, Treaty 6, Saskatchewan.
Eric Tollefson, Outlook, Saskatchewan.
Brandon Veenstra, London, Ontario.
Caitlin Vanette, Camrose, Alberta.
Stephen Wang, Vancouver, BC.
Sean Watson, Regina, Saskatchewan.
Heather White, Calgary, Alberta.
Matthew Weentz, Herschel, Saskatchewan.
Vanessa Williams, Cochrane, Alberta.
Carolyn Wong, Toronto, Ontario.
Justin Wood, Abbotsford, British Columbia.
Kelly Watney, Red Pheasant Cree Nation, Treaty 6 Territory.
Amanda Zalmanowitz, Calgary, Alberta.
彭章，青岛 China。
I'd like to thank our cloakers for the wonderful job that they did. I will now ask our students to rise. Please repeat after me as we recite the student commitment. Now, last year, we kind of staggered this. I'd said a few words, then the students would say a few words, but you have all the words in front of you. So I'm going to try to read one whole commitment and then have you recite the commitment, and we'll see how that goes, all right? Unison is what we're aiming for here, so, all right. As a law student of the University of Saskatchewan College of Law, I will, to the best of my ability, that sounds really nice. Okay, all right. Conduct myself with integrity and demonstrate ethical behavior in my dealings with other students, faculty, and staff.
Conduct myself with integrity and demonstrate ethical behavior in my dealings with other students, faculty, and staff.
Actively engage in the learning process.
Actively engage in the learning process.
Thoughtfully consider, on the basis of evidence, a diversity of theories, ideas, beliefs, and approaches to problems and solutions.
Thoughtfully consider, on the basis of evidence, a diversity of theories, ideas, beliefs, and approaches to problems and solutions.
Undertake my university work in accordance with principles of academic integrity.
Undertake my university work in accordance with principles of academic integrity.
Engage in a respectful way with members of the university community, including other students, staff, faculty, representatives of the institution, and its partners.
Engage in a respectful way with members of the university community, including other students, staff, faculty, representatives of the institution, and its partners.
Value diversity and the positive contribution it brings to the University of Saskatchewan, the College of Law, and society as a whole.
Value diversity and the positive contributions it brings to the University of Saskatchewan, the College of Law, and society as a whole.
Commit to sharing the knowledge and skills I will acquire through the study of law by positively contributing to society, locally, nationally, or globally.
Commit to sharing the knowledge and skills I will acquire through the study of law by positively contributing to society, locally, nationally, or globally.
Thanks, guys, you're done. Thank you all very much. Thank you all very much, and congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, the first-year class of the College of Law. Before we leave and head to the reception and awards presentation, I just have a few quick announcements. First of all, you will note that the location of the reception has changed, and it will now be in the College of Law Student Lounge. Also, if all first years could stay behind with their robes intact, we would like to take some pictures of the whole group. After photos are complete, please return to the green room to drop off your gowns. Again, I'd like to thank all the family and friends and all of you students for attending, as well as our distinguished guests. We hope you will join us at the College of Law for some refreshments and for our scholarship presentations. Thank you. You guys did a great job.